G'day, I'm Mike. For thousands living on the streets, winter is a life-or-death battle against the cold. But the real danger isn't always obvious. The cold is a silent, creeping enemy, one that can take hold before you even realize it's there. Over 700 people experiencing homelessness die from hypothermia each year in the US, but hypothermia can set in even when temperatures are well above freezing, especially when you're wet, exhausted, or malnourished. In fact, wind and dampness can make a chilly night deadly, even if the thermometer reads just a few degrees above zero. These are real people, mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters, lost to freezing temperatures. The cold doesn't discriminate, and it can creep up on anyone, often without warning. Take the story of John, a Vietnam veteran who survived combat but lost his life to a cold snap in Chicago. He thought he could tough it out, but hypothermia set in overnight, and he never woke up. Most of these deaths are preventable with the right knowledge and mindset. Simple mistakes, like getting wet, not recognizing the early signs of hypothermia, or not having enough layers, can turn deadly fast. Even a small amount of moisture in your socks or gloves can sap your body heat and put you at risk. Hypothermia doesn't just attack your body, it messes with your mind. As your core temperature drops, you might start to feel confused, clumsy, or even strangely warm. People suffering from hypothermia have been found undressing in the snow, convinced they're overheating. That's your brain shutting down, and it's a warning sign you can't afford to ignore. So how do you spot the early warning signs? Look for uncontrollable shivering, slurred speech, fumbling hands, and confusion. If you or someone you know starts acting strangely or can't stop shivering, it's time to act. Get dry, get warm, and seek help immediately. Today we're going to arm you with survival strategies to outsmart the cold. We'll cover how to spot the warning signs, protect your body heat, and make smart choices when every degree counts. Remember, even small actions, like keeping your clothes dry, layering up, and staying out of the wind, can make the difference between life and death. This is your guide to staying alive when the world turns cold. Because out here, knowledge isn't just power, it's survival. Your brain is your best survival tool. In the harsh reality of winter on the streets, intelligence isn't just about knowledge, it's about adaptability, quick thinking, and the ability to see opportunity where others see only obstacles. But there's another layer, mental strategies that help you stay calm, make clear decisions, and keep your mind sharp even when stress is high. Every decision you make, every observation you take in, can mean the difference between comfort and suffering, or even life and death. For example, learning the routines of city workers or security guards can help you find safe times to access warm building vents or public restrooms. Out here you must observe, plan, and adapt constantly. The city is always changing. Weather shifts, people move, resources appear and disappear. You need to be alert to every detail. The way the wind blows down an alley, the places where snow piles up, the subtle signs that a spot might offer shelter or danger. One real-life tip: check for steam grates or subway vents which can provide warmth, but always assess for safety and avoid sleeping directly on metal to prevent burns or heat loss. When stress hits, your mind can race or freeze. Survival intelligence means learning to pause, breathe, and assess before acting. Here's a step-by-step mental exercise. First, stop and take 3 slow, deep breaths. This calms your nervous system and helps you think clearly. Next, scan your environment. Look for immediate dangers, resources, and possible escape routes. Then ask yourself, what is my most urgent need right now? Is it warmth, food, water, or safety? Prioritize your actions based on this answer. See the city as a resource. Alcoves become windbreaks, pallets become beds. A simple doorway can shield you from the wind, and a stack of discarded boxes can be transformed into insulation. The urban landscape is full of hidden tools if you know how to look. For instance, one survivor shared how they used the overhang of a closed shop to stay dry during a snowstorm, layering cardboard and plastic bags underneath for extra warmth. Here's an expert tip from a street outreach worker. When you feel panic rising, focus on what you can control. Make a list, mentally or on paper, of your options. Even if the list is short, it gives you a sense of agency and helps you avoid rash decisions. Every piece of trash could be insulation or shelter. A plastic bag can keep your feet dry, a tarp can become a roof, and even newspapers can be layered for warmth. Nothing is useless if you have the creativity to repurpose it. Real-life hack: stuff crumpled newspaper inside your clothes or shoes to trap heat and absorb moisture. Decision-making under stress is a skill you can practice. Try this exercise. When faced with a tough choice, like whether to move to a new spot or stay put, list the pros and cons. Imagine the possible outcomes. If you're too cold to think straight, use a simple rule. If I'm shivering and can't get warm, I move. If I'm safe and warm, I stay. Know your body's limits and the signs of hypothermia. Shivering is your first warning. Your body is telling you it's losing heat faster than it can produce it. Pay attention to these signals because ignoring them can be fatal. If you start shivering uncontrollably, get moving. Walking briskly or doing jumping jacks can help generate body heat. Staying calm is crucial. One survivor described a night when panic almost took over as the temperature dropped. They remembered a tip. Count backwards from 100, slowly. It distracted me from fear and let me focus on what I could do next. Confusion and fumbling hands are signs that your core temperature is dropping. When your mind starts to feel foggy or your fingers stop working, it's time to act fast. Find shelter, add layers, and get moving to generate heat. A real example. One person used a bus shelter as a temporary windbreak and did squats until their hands regained feeling. Here's a mental exercise for clarity. If you feel your thoughts getting jumbled, stop and name 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 you can taste. This grounding technique brings you back to the present and helps you focus. Manage your energy, food and water with precision. In cold weather, your body burns more calories just to stay warm. Ration your supplies carefully, eat small amounts often, and always keep an eye out for clean water sources. Dehydration can sneak up on you, even in the cold. If you can't find water, melt clean snow in a container. Never eat snow directly, as it lowers your core temperature. Expert advice: set small, achievable goals. Instead of thinking about surviving the whole night, focus on making it to the next hour. Celebrate each small win. It keeps your morale up and your mind focused. Stay vigilant and proactive. Anticipate the cold, don't react to it. Prepare before you're desperate. Layer up before you start to feel chilled. Scout for shelter before night falls. And always have a plan for where you'll go if conditions worsen. A practical tip: keep your head, hands, and feet covered, as most body heat escapes from these areas. Another mental strategy: visualize your route and backup plans before you move. Picture what you'll do if your first shelter is full, or if you're turned away. This mental rehearsal reduces anxiety and helps you act quickly if things change. Complacency is your enemy. Survival demands your full attention. The moment you let your guard down, you risk missing a crucial detail or making a costly mistake. Stay sharp, stay aware, and trust your instincts. Set alarms to avoid oversleeping in dangerous spots, and always keep your belongings close. If you feel overwhelmed, use a mantra, something simple like 1 step at a time. Repeat it to yourself to stay grounded and focused. Use your mind to turn a hostile environment into a place you can endure. With the right mindset, every challenge becomes a puzzle to solve, and every hardship is a lesson in resilience. Survival intelligence is about more than just getting by. It's about using your wits to carve out a space for yourself, even in the coldest, most unforgiving city nights. Remember, those who survive longest are those who learn, adapt, and share tips with others. Community knowledge can be a lifesaver. In summary, survival intelligence is a blend of observation, calm decision-making, and mental resilience. Practice these strategies, and you'll not only survive, you'll grow stronger with every challenge you face. Your body is a furnace. Keep it burning with movement. When you're out in the cold, your muscles are your best tool for generating heat, but not all movement is created equal, and knowing how to move safely can make all the difference. Shivering is your body's automatic response to cold. Tiny, rapid muscle contractions that generate heat, but you can take control by using intentional movement. Walking briskly, swinging your arms, or even just shifting your weight from foot to foot can help you stay warm and reduce the need for shivering. Try simple routines. March in place for 1 minute, do 10 slow squats, or perform gentle jumping jacks if you have space. If you're sitting, tighten and release your leg muscles, roll your shoulders, or rotate your ankles. These movements boost circulation and help maintain core temperature. Small, controlled movements, like wiggling your fingers and toes, clenching and unclenching your fists, or gently tapping your feet, generate heat without causing sweat. Even rubbing your hands together or patting your arms and legs helps keep your blood flowing, but be careful, overdoing it can make you sweat, and sweat is dangerous in the cold. Wet clothing loses its insulating power and can lead to rapid heat loss. If you start to feel too warm or notice sweat, slow down or pause. The goal is to stay warm, not to overheat. Set a timer to remind yourself to move every 10 or 15 minutes. Even just standing up and stretching every so often can make a big difference. Listen to your body. If you feel tired or dizzy, rest and avoid pushing yourself too hard. Remember, movement is your portable heat source. Use it often, in big ways and small, to keep the cold at bay. Every small motion is an act of survival, keeping your internal fire alive. Just be sure to balance activity with rest, and always avoid getting wet or exhausted. Stay aware of your surroundings and your limits. Safe, steady movement is your ally against the cold. Keep moving, keep warm, and keep yourself safe. Out here, clothing is your survival shelter. When the temperature drops and the wind bites, what you wear can mean the difference between comfort and hypothermia. In an urban environment, you might not have access to a tent or sleeping bag, but you always have your clothing. Think of it as your portable shelter, your first and most important line of defense against the cold. Every layer you add or remove is a tool to help you adapt to changing conditions. But layering isn't just about piling on as many clothes as possible. It's about using the right materials, in the right order, and knowing how to adjust them as your activity and the weather change. Rule 1. Avoid cotton at all costs. Cotton may feel comfortable at first, but it soaks up moisture like a sponge and holds it against your skin. When cotton gets wet from sweat, rain, or snow, it loses all its insulating power and actually makes you colder. Wet cotton can chill you to the bone and put you at serious risk. This is one of the most common mistakes people make, thinking any shirt or hoodie will do. Instead, choose materials that keep you warm even when damp. The best base layers are made from synthetic fabrics like polyester, polypropylene, or blends designed for athletic wear. These wick moisture away from your skin, keeping you dry and helping your body retain heat. Merino wool is another top choice. It's soft, doesn't itch, and insulates even when wet. If you can find thermal underwear, long-sleeve shirts, or leggings in these materials, grab them. Start with a base layer that fits snugly but isn't too tight. This layer should hug your skin to wick away sweat, but still allow for movement and blood flow. If you don't have access to technical gear, look for athletic shirts, leggings, or even pajamas made from synthetic materials. Avoid anything that feels heavy or damp. Next comes the insulation layer. Fleece and wool are excellent choices for this middle layer, trapping warm air close to your body. A thick sweater, hoodie, or even a flannel shirt can work if it's not cotton. The science here is simple. Insulation works by trapping air, which your body then heats. The more air you can trap, the warmer you'll be. If you lack proper gear, improvise. Stuff crumpled newspaper, cardboard, or even spare clothing between your layers. These materials create extra pockets of air, boosting your insulation. Even plastic bags or bubble wrap can help if you place them between layers, not directly against your skin. The key is to keep the insulating material dry, and to avoid compressing it too much, which reduces its effectiveness. Use anything that creates dead airspace. Bubble wrap, foam, or even a plastic bag can make a huge difference. These improvised materials are surprisingly effective at holding in heat. Don't be afraid to experiment with what you find. Survival is about making the most of what you have. Just make sure these materials don't trap moisture against your skin, which can lead to sweating and rapid heat loss. If you're really stuck, try layering multiple thin shirts or pants instead of relying on one thick item. Each layer adds a bit more trapped air, and you can adjust as needed. Even wrapping yourself in a blanket or towel under your jacket can help. Top it all off with a waterproof, windproof shell. A dedicated rain jacket is best, but in a pinch, a large trash bag or plastic sheet can keep wind and water out. Staying dry is just as important as staying warm, because moisture robs your body of heat faster than anything else. One mistake people make is thinking a thick jacket is enough. Without a shell, wind and rain can cut right through your layers. If you don't have a rain jacket, look for anything that can block wind and water. Even a shower curtain, tarp, or plastic sheeting can be fashioned into a makeshift poncho. Cut holes for your head and arms, and you've got instant protection. Managing your layers is key. If you start to sweat while moving, open your jacket or remove a layer to vent excess heat. When you stop, bundle up quickly to trap warmth before you cool down. This active management prevents your clothes from getting damp and keeps your body temperature stable. Don't ignore your body. If you feel yourself getting sweaty, act fast. Letting sweat build up is a classic mistake that can leave you shivering later. Your clothing system is your personal microclimate, a barrier between you and the harsh city winter. Every layer you choose and every adjustment you make helps you control your environment, no matter how cold or wet it gets outside. Remember, it's not about wearing the thickest clothes, but about building a system that works together. The science of insulation is all about air. Air is a poor conductor of heat, so the more air you trap in your clothing, the slower your body loses warmth. That's why puffy jackets, loose layers, and even improvised stuffing work so well. Just make sure you don't compress your layers too much, or you'll squeeze out the air and lose the benefit. Keep an eye on your comfort and adjust your layers as the weather changes. Swap out wet gloves or hats, tighten your scarf, and always be ready to adapt. Don't forget your extremities. Cold hands, feet, and head can sap your body heat fast. A common mistake is to neglect these areas, so always have dry backups if you can. If you don't have gloves, wrap your hands in socks, rags, or even plastic bags. For your feet, double up on socks, or use newspaper as insulation inside your shoes. A hat or even a scarf wrapped around your head can make a huge difference, since you lose a lot of heat from your head and neck. Dress smart, not just warm. In the city, your clothing is your armor. With the right layers, smart strategies, and a little creativity, you can turn even the harshest winter into something you can handle. Avoid the common mistakes. Don't wear cotton, don't overdress and sweat, and don't forget to protect your head, hands, and feet. Remember, survival starts with what you put on your back and how you use it. Mylar emergency blankets are a survival game-changer, and their secret lies in science. Mylar is a thin, metallic polyester film that reflects up to 90% of your body heat back at you, instead of letting it escape into the cold air. Lightweight and compact, these blankets are easy to carry, and invaluable in the cold. You can fit one in your pocket, and it weighs almost nothing. For maximum warmth, use Mylar blankets loosely, wear them as a cape, line your bedding, or build a shelter. Don't wrap them too tightly, or you'll trap sweat and get chilled. Handle with care. Mylar tears easily and doesn't breathe, so moisture can build up inside if you're not careful. Mylar multiplies the effectiveness of your other layers in shelter. Try sandwiching it between clothing or bedding for extra insulation. For their size, they pack a massive survival punch. One story from Chicago. A man stranded overnight in a snowstorm used a single Mylar blanket and a cardboard box to stay alive until morning. You can also use Mylar blankets as a rain shield to keep your gear dry, or as a ground cover to block moisture and cold from below. In a pinch, wrap one around a water bottle to keep it from freezing. In emergencies, their shiny surface makes them excellent for signaling rescuers, or for covering windows to reflect heat back into your shelter. In Alaska, hikers have used Mylar to flag down helicopters. Get creative. Cut them into strips for makeshift cordage, wrap them around your feet for extra warmth, or use them to insulate food and water. One resourceful camper even used Mylar to patch a leaky tent roof. With a little ingenuity, Mylar blankets can solve a surprising number of survival challenges. Use them as windbreaks, makeshift hoods, or even to keep pets warm. Remember, Mylar is best when combined with other materials. Use cardboard, clothing, or even newspaper underneath to trap air and boost insulation. In survival, every layer counts. Cardboard is urban insulation, your barrier against the cold ground, but it's also much more. Let's break down exactly how to use it for warmth and safety on the streets. Cardboard insulates by trapping air in its corrugated layers. These air pockets slow down the transfer of heat, keeping your body warmth from escaping into the cold ground. The thicker the cardboard, the better the insulation. Step 1. Find as many large, dry sheets as you can. Avoid wet or moldy cardboard. It loses its insulating power and can make you sick. Layer at least 3 to 5 sheets for bedding, and add more if you can. Appliance and grocery stores are your best sources. Check behind restaurants, recycling bins, or politely ask store staff for unused boxes. Always inspect for bugs or sharp staples before using. To prepare your bedding, overlap pieces to cover gaps and build up insulation. Tear or cut sheets to fit your space and use smaller scraps to patch holes or block drafts. Secure corners with rocks or tape to keep them from blowing away. For shelter, stack boxes to create walls, or fold large sheets to form a windbreak. Angle the cardboard to block prevailing winds, and reinforce with extra layers for added strength. Always leave a small gap for ventilation to prevent condensation. Use rolled or folded cardboard as a pillow or extra padding. You can also stand sheets upright to create a privacy screen or shield yourself from passing eyes. Always check the ground for sharp objects before laying down your cardboard. Keep your layers dry by elevating them if possible, and replace any wet or damaged pieces as soon as you can. During the day, use cardboard as a mat to sit on, keeping yourself off the cold pavement. Store extra sheets under a tarp or plastic to keep them dry for later use. Cardboard is your most versatile urban survival tool. With a little creativity and care, it can keep you warmer, safer, and more comfortable through the night. When temperatures drop, your body burns more calories just to keep you warm. That means food isn't just about filling your stomach, it's your main source of heat and energy. Choosing the right foods and knowing how to get them can make all the difference in surviving cold nights. Fats and proteins are your best friends in the cold. They provide long-lasting warmth and steady energy. Eat them before sleep to help your body generate heat through the night. Look for calorie-dense snacks like nuts, cheese, hard-boiled eggs, and roasted chestnuts. These foods are easy to carry, don't spoil quickly, and pack a lot of energy into small portions. Peanut butter, nuts, cheese, and jerky are easy to carry and packed with energy. Energy bars from convenience stores are a quick, high-calorie option. If you have bread, add peanut butter or cheese for a simple warming meal. Even a spoonful of peanut butter on its own can give you a boost. Hot street foods like meat pies, empanadas, pretzels, or even baked potatoes are easy to find and provide both warmth and calories. If you can, prioritize foods that are served hot. they'll warm your hands and your core. Hot food and drinks give a direct heat boost and lift morale. Instant noodles, soup or tea from a corner store or a thermos can be a lifesaver. If you have access to hot water, use it to prepare instant meals or warm up leftovers. Eat small, regular meals to keep your energy steady. Don't wait until you're starving. Snack often to maintain body heat. Ration your food by dividing it into small portions for the day, so you don't run out when you need it most. Never go to sleep cold and hungry. A high-calorie snack before bed, like a granola bar, handful of nuts, or a piece of cheese, helps your body stay warm through the night. Keep a snack within reach in case you wake up cold. If you have a way to heat food, use it. Even cold foods can be warmed by holding them close to your body before eating. In a pinch, wrap food in foil and keep it in your pocket to use your body heat. Finding food can be tough, but don't be afraid to ask. Many street vendors, bakeries, or restaurants will give away unsold food at the end of the day if you ask politely. Food donation tables, shelters, and community fridges are also good sources. Always thank those who help. Nutrition matters. Foods high in fat and protein keep you warmer longer than sugary snacks. But don't skip carbs, they give you quick energy. Try to balance your meals, and always keep some emergency snacks in your bag. Share when you can, and look out for others. Sometimes, pooling resources with others can mean a hot meal or a better chance at staying warm. Remember, food isn't just for hunger, it's for heat, energy, and survival. Prioritize foods that are easy to find, high in calories, and simple to eat on the go. Keep your internal furnace fueled and use every opportunity, street vendors, convenience stores, donation tables, or community kitchens, to stock up and stay warm. Where you sleep can make or break your survival. The right location keeps you warm, safe, and less visible. Scouting for a spot isn't just about finding a place to lie down. It's about protecting yourself from the elements, staying out of harm's way, and making sure you can rest without worry. Prioritize wind protection. Find alcoves, leeward walls, or covered docks. Dry ground is just as important. Avoid puddles and icy patches. For example, one survivor in Chicago always looked for south-facing walls, which blocked the wind and caught a bit of sun during the day, making nights more bearable. Underground garages can be warmer, but watch for security risks and patrols. Stay out of obvious sightlines. A man in Toronto shared that he always checked for security cameras and escape routes before settling in, just in case he needed to leave quickly. Avoid bridges and steam vents. They're colder or dangerously wet. Dampness can sap your body heat fast. One woman in Boston learned the hard way that steam vents can soak your gear overnight, leaving you colder than before. Scout spots carefully. Test for wind, safety, and cleanliness. Hidden corners offer privacy, but check for hazards like broken glass, trash, or animal droppings. Always do a quick sweep with your hand or foot before settling in. Look for overhead cover and elevation off the ground. Cardboard, newspapers, or extra layers help insulate from the cold pavement. In New York, a seasoned street sleeper always carried a few plastic bags to keep his bedding dry and add an extra layer against the cold. Balance shelter from the elements with personal security. Choose spots with low foot traffic but easy escape routes. A woman in Seattle always picked locations near emergency exits, just in case she needed to move fast. The right spot is your fortress against the night. Stay hidden, stay dry, and keep your essentials close. Remember, your safety and warmth come first. Here's a quick checklist for evaluating locations. Wind protection, dry ground, overhead cover, escape route, low foot traffic, cleanliness, insulation, and security. Use this every night to give yourself the best chance at a safe, warm rest. No sleeping bag? No problem. Here's a step-by-step guide to making your own improvised sleeping bag and bedding system from found materials. Step 1. Start with insulation from the ground. Lay down a thick layer of cardboard, flattened pizza boxes, or any foam you can find. This keeps the cold from seeping up into your body. Step 2. Make a waterproof shell. Use a large garbage bag, plastic drop cloth, or even a shower curtain. Cut open one end if you need more room. This layer keeps moisture out and heat in. Step 3. Add insulation inside your shell. Stuff it with crumpled newspaper, dry leaves, spare clothes, bubble wrap, or foam packing material. The more air pockets, the better the insulation. Step 4. Protect your head and neck. Use a hat, scarf, socks, t-shirt, or even a towel as a neck gaiter. Most heat escapes from your head and neck, so keep them covered. Step 5. Layer up. Start with your ground pad, then your improvised bag or shell. Add any blankets or space blankets you have, and tuck in the edges to trap heat. The more layers, the warmer you'll be. For extra comfort, use rolled-up clothing as a pillow. Smooth out your bedding to avoid lumps and check for drafts around the edges. Tuck everything in tight to keep warm air inside. Remember, survival is about staying alive, not looking good. Use whatever you can find, waterproof your layers, and focus on insulation and comfort. Your DIY sleeping bag might not look fancy, but it can keep you warm through the night. When temperatures drop and the cold bites through your layers, sometimes you need more than just clothing to stay warm. Exposure to cold, especially overnight or during long stretches outdoors, can quickly sap your body heat and put you at risk for hypothermia. That's why having a few tricks up your sleeve for generating extra warmth can make all the difference. Let's dive into the world of hand warmers and creative DIY heat sources. What works, how to use them, and how to stay safe. There are several types of hand warmers, each with their own pros and cons. Disposable chemical hand warmers are the most common. They heat up when exposed to air and last for several hours. Reusable gel packs activate with a click, producing heat through a chemical reaction and can be reset by boiling them in water. Battery-powered electric hand warmers are another option. They're rechargeable, often double as power banks, and can provide adjustable heat, but require access to electricity. While most people instinctively put hand warmers in their gloves, they're actually most effective when placed near your core, over your kidneys, or tucked into your socks to warm your feet. These areas help distribute heat throughout your body, maximizing the effect. Always follow the instructions on the package, and never place them directly on bare skin to avoid burns or irritation. If you don't have commercial hand warmers, you can improvise with a few creative solutions. One classic method is to fill a sturdy leak-proof bottle, like a Nalgene, with hot water from a public restroom or friendly business. Wrap it in a cloth or spare clothing to prevent burns, then keep it close to your body or inside your sleeping bag. This DIY heat source can provide hours of gentle warmth, especially when you need it most. Another option is to use a metal can with a tea-light candle inside, making sure there's proper ventilation, and it's placed on a stable, non-flammable surface. This can create a small, localized heat source for your hands, but always use extreme caution to avoid fire hazards. For a quick chemical reaction, you can make a DIY hand warmer by mixing iron filings, salt, and a little water in a Ziploc bag. Just be sure to double bag it to prevent leaks and avoid direct skin contact. In a pinch, you can also use nature to your advantage. Find dry, non-porous rocks and heat them near a small, contained fire. Never use wet or river rocks as they can explode. Once they're hot, carefully wrap them in a thick cloth or extra clothing, and use them as foot or hand warmers. If you have access to a microwave, filling a sock with dry rice and heating it for a minute or two creates a reusable, flexible heat pack. This method is safe and effective, as long as the sock is not overheated and is checked for hot spots before use. Even a reused soda bottle filled with hot water and wrapped in a towel can serve as a makeshift hot water bottle in a pinch. Remember, these heat sources are enhancements, not replacements for proper insulation. Always layer up with blankets, jackets, or sleeping bags to trap the warmth you generate. The more layers you have between you and the cold air, the longer your body heat, and any extra heat you add, will last. Don't forget to use cardboard, newspaper, or even plastic bags as extra insulation if you have them available. Timing is also crucial. The coldest hours are usually between 2 and 5 a.m., when your body temperature naturally drops and the outside air is at its lowest. That's when you'll need these heat sources the most, so plan ahead and activate or prepare them before you start to feel chilled. If you wake up cold, try to reactivate or replace your heat sources as soon as possible. Safety is key when using any heat source, especially in confined spaces like tents, cars, or makeshift shelters. Always ensure there's enough ventilation to prevent carbon monoxide buildup if you're using candles or any open flame. Never sleep with an open flame nearby, and keep all heat sources away from flammable materials. If you notice any strange smells, headaches, or dizziness, get fresh air immediately. If your hand warmers stop working, try shaking them, exposing them to more air, or warming them up in your pockets. For DIY solutions, always check for leaks or overheating before use. Get creative. Heated bricks, a hot drink in a thermos, or even a bundle of warm laundry can all serve as temporary heat sources. The key is to use what you have, stay alert to safety, and always look for ways to keep the cold at bay. Smart, creative use of heat sources, whether store-bought, improvised, or natural, can be the difference between a miserable night and a safe one, or even between life and death. Stay prepared, stay warm, and always look for ways to protect yourself from the cold. Nature offers insulation, even in the city. Survival experts agree, using what's around you can make the difference between a cold, sleepless night and staying warm enough to rest. Don't overlook man-made materials you find outdoors, but natural options are everywhere if you know what to look for. Dry leaves, pine needles, and grass are excellent insulators. Gather as much as you can and use them as bedding or ground pads. Stuff them inside your clothes, especially around your core and between layers, to trap warm air. Cardboard and crumpled newspaper work the same way. Trap air, add layers, and keep your body heat from escaping. Always check for dryness. Dig beneath the top layer of wet leaves or grass to find dry material underneath. Survival instructors warn that using damp insulation can actually make you colder, so dry out anything you can in the sun or wind before using it. Pine needles and dry grass make great ground pads and stuffing. Layer your clothing and tuck in loose ends, like sleeves and pant legs, to trap body heat. Fill gaps with natural materials for extra insulation, just as survival pros recommend. In snowy conditions, snow itself can be a powerful insulator. Build a wall or dig a trench to block wind. Snow traps air and keeps warmth in. Survival experts advise packing snow around the base of your shelter for extra insulation, but always keep a barrier like plastic or dry leaves between you and the snow to avoid getting wet. Collect insulation materials early, before they get wet or covered by snow. Store them under cover or in bags to keep them dry. Always check for insects, thorns, or sharp debris before using natural materials. Safety first. Use the environment as your stockpile of survival resources. Check hidden spots, under benches, bridges, or dense bushes, for dry debris. Grass from park edges or roadside can be just as useful as leaves or pine needles. Work with nature to build your shelter. Weave branches together for structure, then add thick layers of leaves, grass, or pine needles for insulation. The more layers, the better. Survival experts recommend at least 6 inches of natural material between you and the ground for real warmth. Even your backpack or spare clothing can be used as insulation between you and the cold ground. Fill empty spaces with natural materials. Every layer counts. Combine natural and man-made insulation for the best results. Remember, these techniques are used by survival experts around the world. Practice gathering, layering, and testing materials before you need them. With the right know-how, you can turn almost anything in your environment into life-saving insulation. Survival isn't just about comfort or appearance, it's about grit, determination, and the unbreakable will to keep going, no matter how tough things get. When the cold bites and hope feels distant, it's your mindset that becomes your greatest shield. Every hack, trash bag, ponchos, cardboard beds, follows the science of heat retention, but it's your mindset that turns these actions into lifelines. Across the world, countless people have survived against the odds by refusing to give up, even when the situation seemed impossible. Take the story of a man who spent weeks on the streets during a brutal winter. He survived not just by building better shelters, but by focusing on small victories, finding a dry spot, sharing a meal, or simply making it through another night. These moments of hope, no matter how small, fuel resilience. Mental resilience isn't just about ignoring fear or pain, it's about acknowledging them, then choosing to act anyway. Practical exercises can help. Set small, achievable goals each day. Practice deep breathing to calm your mind, and remind yourself of past challenges you've overcome. Every action is focused on survival, not style. Try repeating a simple phrase, "I can make it through this," whenever doubt creeps in. Visualize a safe place or a loved one waiting for you. These mental exercises can help anchor your hope and determination. In the end, your will to survive, your mental resilience, is the most powerful heat source you have. Remember, survival is not just about enduring the cold, but about keeping your spirit